All right. Good evening. Hola, welcome. Y'all already know we're back on the Real Precious Network on the Men's Forum tonight. Happy Wednesday. We're almost there. Okay. We're in the middle of the week and we're going to make the rest of the week a good week. But until then, we're going to have these conversations tonight. I pulled 3 videos that we are going to react to. You know, this is the Men's Forum where the men are on the panel giving their perspective. There are women who are allowed to come up on the panel. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just hit that link. And you will be on the show as well. But tonight we're we looking at the men and the women. Remember, on the Men's Forum, it's not about pointing fingers. It's about seeing where we can make different decisions, where communications could have got crossed, where communications could not have been maybe comprehended in the way that the other party would have liked them to. But tonight we are going to break those things down. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Definitely hit the like button. If you're not hitting the like button, I don't know what you're doing. Don't watch me. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And once you subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when we are going live. This is a network now because on Tuesday nights, I have the Adoptee Foster, where I have a panelist on. Leon, him and I host that show for those who are interested in learning about foster care, adoption, the many situations and dynamics within that family dynamic, and just how we as adoptees have experienced adoption. And so we are advocates for those who do not have the voice yet to speak about their experiences. And then on Wednesday, we have the Men's Forum where the men come and give their perspective. And we sit back, we listen, and we don't judge too much, but we got to have a little bit of judgment in there, okay? In order to fix behavior, you got to judge it a little bit. So we do that on Wednesday, and we have a good time. Last Wednesday, we was here for 4 hours, y'all. We're not doing that tonight. We're not doing that tonight, okay? We're not going to be up till 3 a.m., all right? No, we wasn't up that late last Wednesday, but it was a while. We're not doing that tonight, all right? We're going to keep it short and sweet tonight, hopefully. However, I don't like to cut off good conversation, so we'll see where we end up, but I don't want to do the 4-hour thing tonight. All right. Before I get to my audience viewer co-host, Mr. R. Payne, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing just fine. Can't complain. Got a little cough and congestion, but I'm gonna get through it. That's about it.
Look, I got my tea tonight. Okay, I sneezed last night on the live, and I was like, "Wait, hold up, what kind of sneeze was that?"
That's what this should be, but it's not.
Oh, see, why you don't have your tea? This wealth, all right. We need to be sick out here in these streets. Already enough going around, floating in the air.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything's cool. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Hello to the chat.
Yes. And speaking of the chat, we got Fish in the Fit in the building. Good evening, everyone. Hola, good evening to you as well. 3 a.m. Thought Club. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. That is my co-host on Tuesday evening. So definitely check him out. Go follow his YouTube page. He is coming out and doing his thing on YouTube as well. So support him. Please, por favor. Hello, everyone. Fish and Fit. Hello. Our Pain is in the chat, giving some love. Good evening. All hit that like button. Hype it up as well. Smash the like button. Okay. Share, support the movement, all that good stuff. Sean Bolden is in the chat. Sean, I sent you the link. Where you at? You in a car? What's going on, Sean? Where you at? Good evening to you as well. Darnell, thank you so much for being here. Hello, good people. Hello to you as well. Hi. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Good evening to you. When are you giving the link? Drop the link. I try to drop the link after the first video, after we, get into a little bit of conversation, and then we want to hear everybody's thoughts. In order to join the panel, you have to be respectful. You have to be a real person. I do have to see your face behind in the backstage. However, if you do not want to show your face throughout the show, you don't have to, but I need to know that you're real. Okay, real. Good evening, Menelik. I appreciate you for being here, sir. All right. I don't have the link. You don't got the link? Little All right. All right. I'm going to have to drop the link pretty early. Okay. I'm going to have to drop it pretty early. But first, before I drop that link, we're going to get into this first video. Now, I told Arpain I like the videos and the content where people call in, type in, write in, send in a letter, whatever it is, to these podcasts, platforms where they already know, the videos are going to get the clicks and the comments, because whenever you ask someone their opinion and they're not afraid to give their opinion, they're going to give it. And so I like going over those videos because it allows us to do that. It allows us to dig deeper into the conversation. And so I have 3 videos like that tonight, but tonight we're going to go back to tonight's conversation world, because they always got those juicy conversations. And last week you guys said you think that people are getting paid to read them, or you think that they're being planted in the audience so that so it forces engagement, right? Is that kind of like what y'all said last week?
I know for tonight's conversation, I think those guys are plants in the audience.
Okay. So yeah.
Men and women.
Yeah. It's funny that some of them, when they're reading them and they're like, yeah, my ex did X, Y, and Z, and then the X be there. And it's like,
yeah,
what's going on? But we're going to go over this first one because I don't know if somebody planted this in the audience or if this is this girl's real life, but it's a little wild. So we
let me also say that though, with the plant, it doesn't matter whether it's a plant really, if the conversation that it sparks is a good one.
Right. And I think that's the point of it all, the reason for it all. All right.
Amazing emotionally.
Hold on now, I was about to call it Salesforce. Lord, I can't stop working. All right, come on.
He's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do I wait before I feel appreciated?
I don't know if any of y'all know the group Cherish. It was a group from back in the day, and they had this song, I'm feeling really unappreciated. They had this song on there. And that's the first thing I thought of when I heard that video. But old girl is feeling unappreciated after she done got her behind wiped. She, had these 2 brain surgeries. What's going on, Arpain? What's happening? What's happening with the girl?
Yeah, see,
surgery.
I really, my problem is I don't even know how she could form her lips to say anything that she just said. It's so easy for me to come out to attack that because it sounds so stupid. But let's just assume that she really thinks that, and this is just real. This woman actually, after this guy did all of that stuff for her, that she could actually come out after a couple of weeks or a month and actually says that she's not feeling appreciated. As far as, if I was sitting in the audience, I don't know what I would say to her. I mean, I could come and attack her, but that's not going to be the best thing. I guess I would try to find out, how did she come from being taken care of the way she was to the point that now that she wants to have her fun because she's getting better, if she's not getting her way right away, that she feels unappreciated, and what she's going to do about that.
Well,
that's what I would like to know. I would like to ask her what she, instead of trying to attack what she just said, I would try to find out what put her into that frame of mind after all that was done to her, that she remembers.
Right.
And that she can still say that. I would like to know.
I think that is a good question to ask, and that's a good question to pose to her to get her authentic thoughts and to really see what perspective she's coming from. As a woman, hearing a woman speak about being appreciated, I don't necessarily think appreciated is the correct word. I think it's more of she wants to now be on the scene, right? She wants to now go out with her husband. She wants to now do the things that she couldn't do because she mentioned age. And so now, time has gone past and I'm a certain age. I think for me, the question that I would pose would be, do you recognize the sacrifice of your husband who stopped going to work to be your caretaker? And do you understand, the value in that? And now he is trying to recoup the financial status of whatever, because he must have been in a good standing. And I don't know how long it took for all of this that went on with her, but my angle would be, how do you think, um how do you think, as a man, knowing that he hasn't worked for such a long time, what is your view on that? You know what I mean? Because that's what I think, when I heard that. And being a woman, like I said, I thought about it from the perspective of, well, there has been, she's trying to make up for lost time, right? But so is he. And so which lost time will get us a little bit further in time if we worked on that now. So that's where my mind went with it.
No, you mentioned she is 24. It's like she's 34. She's 24. And one of the things that I'm gonna say this, and I'm not talking about you, Precious, because you have this kind of show. Women generally don't think about what men feel about. It doesn't even cross their mind.
That's a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem. And so asking her that question, she said, "Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about him."
Well, right. But that's why we have to bring it to the forefront, because like you said, women don't typically think about men and the things that they go through, or the things that they sacrifice in order to be that protector, or be the person that is really covering you.
You know what the phrase is, right? That's the bare minimum.
It's not the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum. That's what they on TikTok they would say. That's the bare minimum.
When you're choosing to do it, even there is no bare minimum, because you're choosing to do something. And so, to call it the bare minimum is almost irrelevant, because he chose you. So to tell him that he's doing the bare minimum would be not to have married you and not to have chosen to cover you. That's the bare minimum.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, RP?
What's going on, Sean? Gentlemen?
Hey, Precious.
What's up?
She got her nerve.
She got her nerve.
Like,
I haven't heard that.
It takes a lot for a person to sacrifice to, take care of somebody. It takes a lot of compassion and empathy from him, because normally, people will say that most guys would leave her. Normally it's the women that take care of the men, when they get sick. But he, he stuck in there, and he did what he had to do, because he loved her. He chose to do that. Like, he didn't have to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like when she talking about she ain't been out, like, you alive. Like, he was the reason why you alive. Like, he was the reason, your butt is clean every day. Like, can we really understand like what's going on here? And And I don't know if you guys have ever taken care of somebody like that in a way, like your parents or your spouse. But like I was, when I lived with my mom, I was basically her caretaker. And not in the sense like, like bathing her in a way, but like I was like taking her to like her doctor's appointments, making sure everything was taken care of, right? Like, so, that it can take a toll on a person, if you're a man or a woman, like, and you are choosing to do this because you are genuinely concerned about the person. Like, you're not just, it wasn't like, it wasn't like he was at home playing Xbox, playing GTA all day. So like, what are we even talking about, right? And like you guys said, I just think she is like, I couldn't see myself going to tonight's conversation and like if my significant other was taking care of me and me going up in there saying, "Oh, I don't feel appreciated," and I just had a stroke or something, and I'm able to talk and walk, and like that's really, I do not like when people do this. Like, you need to talk to your spouse about how you feel. Like our Payne said, she probably want to be outside again. She want to be in the mix.
Yeah, and let's not get it. I think that it's natural for her to feel that way. However, the sacrifice of being a caretaker, a position that usually women take because we are just naturally nurturing.
Right.
I think it takes a special kind of man I don't think that every man could do that. That's just my opinion. I don't think that every man could be a caretaker. And so knowing what is sacrificed, it's almost like the kid who's like, well, I have candy, but I want more type of thing. It's like, he nursed you back to life. He was there for you, two brain surgeries. Are you even in the clear? Like, like, are you, it's one of those things where it's just like your time will come, but at the same time, show the reciprocity of the sacrifice, right? It is showing him that you can stay down like he stayed down. Because I believe they're married. I don't think I believe she said her husband.
I don't. Maybe she did. I didn't hear that part.
I thought
he's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do
that doesn't, I mean, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend type of situation, but a man who ain't going to work and with a woman to take care of her, that sounds more like he's committed to her.
He really loves her. Like, you just ain't, like, there's a difference between like dating somebody and the person that you really want to be with and you really love. Like, he cared about her well-being, legit. And for her to, you've been on dates, he's been taking care of you. What are we even talking about? He brought you back to where you can, I mean, brain surgery, that ain't nothing to sneeze about, right? Like, the 2 of them at that matter.
Hey, maybe that's why she's saying some stupid shit like that. It could be,
Yeah,
because like my mom had a stroke, right? And probably 2016, 2015, and she had a real big one. And my mom had good penmanship, right? Like, so
Mhm.
she could really write really well, just in cursive. And like, I would tell her, sign your name here. I want to see what the handwriting looked like. I was like, oh, we got to go. This looked like chicken scratch. So, just knowing what people can do and what their strengths are, and when you can see it, and when they're not at their best, that's when you take action. But I mean, I in a way I understand where she's coming from, right? Like, so she wants to experience things, because she's been sick for, if she's had two brain surgeries, was
Yeah,
that like in the same year, or like was that in 2 years? That could do a lot to her mental too, right? Like, 'cause she wants to be, she just wants to enjoy just life, being not in the hospital or not in a bed, right? She wants to be, go enjoy a nice dinner, or go see a movie, or go to a concert, stuff that people do on a regular basis. And, sometimes we often, take that for granted, and that's what she wants to experience. But on the other hand, she seems like she's a little, you know, ungrateful.
Yeah, but those two things can exist in the same spot. Because I was going to say the same thing. Brain surgery sounds like a life changing event to me. I
Mhm.
don't care. There's no such thing as a minor brain surgery, right?
right.
Mhm.
So, so from that standpoint, okay, every minute has to count, every this and that. The child in her doesn't know that she's supposed to communicate that feeling to her significant other,
Mhm.
or why, and maybe she doesn't know. She's not making that connection. Because I was going to try to give her the grace from that standpoint of, yeah, these kind of things are frightening. They're life changing. You survive through it, and uh, so I would imagine a guy who took care of her would probably understand her urgency for some kind of, let me live life to whatever fullest, because I don't know if this is coming back. I don't know, blah blah blah. So he could come back to her and say, I understand where you're coming from. Give me this much time, and then we'll get rolling.
Mhm.
But she's not giving them that opportunity, because the petulant child part of her isn't putting those two things together on why she's saying some of those kind of things. And
Mhm.
that's what I would say. You
Yeah,
know,
I think it's very natural. Like I said, I think it's very natural for her to feel the way that she does. Uh,
hmm
However, what kind of conversations are you having
with the
with him about it? It's almost like she probably does feel like she's gonna come off ungrateful if she goes to talk to him about it. However, if somebody is wiping your behind,
oh Jesus Christ.
there should be nothing that you can't
Tell
go
me, I'm
Uh,
serious. I'm
like
serious.
like there should be nothing that you can't say, hey babe, can we take a breather, or can we go take a walk, or can we,
mhm.
that's another thing, is like, what you trying to do? Like he probably like, look, I took care of you for a while there, it was a bumpy road, we he could, as her caretaker, want to be very careful too. He could be very timid in that area of, activity, entertainment, they always tell you when you're driving, it's almost like you got to be able to watch out for other cars, right? Because
Mhm.
you got
Oh
to
yeah.
watch the people around you.
Right.
And so there could be a healthy fear there for him, as well as, someone who did take care of her. But I understand where she's coming from. I think that she should be a little bit more intuitive of the situation and really have the conversation with him, and not you don't ever take me out, or you're never around type of, approach, but pretty much, tell him it seems like it's been a while. I'm not sure if, we're not going out for this reason or that reason. But I would love to go out. You know, it doesn't have to be anything major, but I would like to, you know, spend some time with you, you know, even if it's not always about, you know, sometimes women, we know how to make it about you to get what we want. Right?
Of course you do.
So you just have to approach it in a certain way. But to say, well, I'm grown now, and you know, I don't, how long is it going to take for him to appreciate me? And it's like that type of verbiage and the way that she framed it makes it seem like she's just trying to be outside. Like she just want to be seen now. She want the world to know she is healed in Jesus' name. Okay.
Yeah, but at least she's not talking about girls' trips. She's talking about he could actually
Not
come
yet.
home.
right. Not yet. Yeah, no, she's not talking about girls' trips, but she still want to be outside. When I say outside, I just mean she wants to be on the scene. It doesn't necessarily have to be with the girls. Even being outside where her man is still going out, being outside. You can be outside with your man. That can be a thing. It's not always a girls trip or a girls night out type of thing, but she clearly wants to go, and that's just the nature of women too. You know, women don't always like to be in the house, especially if you have a man. It's like, all right, well, let's go out, let's do something. You know, you have a lot of women, or you have a lot of men that are okay with being at home, and you have women that complain and say, he never takes me out, we never go anywhere, we never, you know, women do like to have some type of excitement. You know, it could be planned, like every, you know, month we're going to do X, Y, and Z, or every other week we'll go and get ice cream together, or like, you know, but at least she has something to look forward to. Women like having something to look forward to. It's just in our nature to want to look forward to something. Well, Sean, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
That's good. Just salute to you both. Oh man, you just nature.
Your audio is breaking up.
You're sounding like
oh boy,
sound like you're underwater.
Me and this audio. Hold on, we're going to try something different. I don't know. I'm on my headset. Can y'all hear me better? Maybe I need to change my headset.
It's choppy.
Still choppy, yeah. Yeah, so and she also has to really think about his mindset too, right? Because that took a toll on him, you know, really taking care of her every day, you know, and I don't know how, like, we don't know how down bad she was, right? Like, we don't know if she, at the time that she was going through it, you know, if she couldn't, you know, walk or speak or talk, or we don't know the level of where she was, right? But he still had to you know, make that responsibility and take all of that responsibility and be like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, do what it takes to get her back to where she need to be, right? Because he loved her, you know, and you know, for her to, and I get what you're saying, Precious. Like, she just wants to do, you know, she just wants to be like a regular person again, right? She just wants to do regular things. And, you know, he may not be ready to do those things. Like, he might want to break, right? Like, so he might want, you know, he might want to play on the Xbox for a few days, you know, because he's been taking care of her. So I get both sides. But like her trying to make it seem like she wasn't being taken care of when that's far from the truth. Like,
man. Can you hear me?
You still sound like you're underwater.
I was waiting for him to talk more.
But go ahead, man. Go ahead and say what you got to say, Sean. Let's see what happens.
I know I'm trying. I just want to, you know, I'm trying to get to a better audio source.
That's better.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying, you just spoke about nature, right? And I'm so tired of hearing about a woman's nature, because men have nature too, and we don't always exercise our nature, and that restraint is necessary for maturity. And so the maturity of a woman is not to understand your nature and when it's unnatural to a relationship. And that right there, what she just displayed, regardless if she wants to go out, she is out. She's at tonight's conversation. So all of those excuses of, oh, I need to get out and I want to, okay, that's excuses. You're being ungrateful. How about that? How about we really address what is going on? You're being ungrateful. And it's unfortunate that that person who took care of you all of the time while you was ill, for you to just turn your back and be unloyal and ungrateful to him.
I hear what you're saying. To say that a woman's nature is unnatural to a relationship, that I mean, and my hearing that makes me think you don't want a woman's nature in a relationship, because it's going to spill in the relationship all the way up and down and through. So, like, it's a woman's nature in a relationship. A woman's nature is to flow. That's her nature. A woman's nature is to flow. And so that is natural in a relationship. However, there does need to be parameters with that flow, and that's where a man comes in at, because we can't you let us flow, we just going to lean with it, rock with it, right? So the man comes in and sets the boundaries and the systems and things of that nature in place with the mindset that a woman is going to be a woman. He knows that she's going to be who she is. And so it is up to him to have this knowledge and awareness of the woman that he's with, in order to know how to maneuver in the relationship and set boundaries and set, and it should be a together thing. It shouldn't just be up to the man. However, men are more logical, more practical. And so naturally the leader in a relationship would do that. Plus, we're coming into your world. And so, you being able to let us know how to flow in your world is what's needed. A woman is not going to come into a man's world and just do what she wants, right? No, there's going to be, this is how I work my system, or this is how I function in my world. And if you can function with me, great. But if we're always headbutting, or if you're always trying to question why I function the way that I function, then not sure if this is right for you, or
Well, to your point, a human nature is to flow. It's not a woman's nature. A woman's nature, we're going to be it's often rebellious, and that's what we're fighting against often, is the rebellious nature. But we also have a very nature that is derogatory as well, that we do not exercise. And that if we're one flow,
Sean, it's part of. I can't. It's the audio. I don't know if it's your connection, or what, but it's hard to.
I'm gonna switch it up. To
listen to, because it's in and out. Coach Ferg, how are you this evening?
How you doing, Miss Precious? How y'all doing, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear. What's going on?
Okay. Oh yeah. Just tune in, man. Interesting. I like
so every show you gonna have a new generation behind you now? Family tree. He gonna have a family tree. Who that?
This is me. Behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Baby Bird.
Yeah, that's me. He didn't know nothing to the world. Sleep, looking like my mom and my daddy rolled up together. Looking like they
behind.
Yeah, baby innocent now. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Once he opened his eyes up, it was over. But no, yeah, I was just tuning in and the stuff. So yeah.
Did you see the first video?
I didn't see the first video, but man.
All right, we're gonna go through it one more time.
And I love it when you play it back.
One thing though, before are we gonna, once you saw the first part, are we gonna see what they say back to her at some point?
No, that was actually the end of that video. I think somebody probably reposted their video.
Yeah.
But that's why I chose this one, because we were, we're not.
Fine, that's fine. I just wanted to know.
They give their advice, but
let's get Coach Ferg up to snuff. See what he's
How you doing, man?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Uh-oh.
He's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do I wait before I feel appreciated?
Damn. I don't even want that. I don't even want. Oh my God. Really? Really?
Hey, that's what you said.
I don't know how to respond, really, but
That's
I'm gonna
it,
try
right?
something. I'm gonna throw something against the wall, right? Here's a man, right, that saved your life, gave you life, when he could have ran out like they claim most of us do, right? But that's a lie. He nurtured you back to this capacity so you can follow back in line with this feminist, whatever it is you talking about. You to the world trying to shame him, telling me he ain't good enough. That this dude done probably lost his job caring for her little slow ass. But then you're not even giving him the honor that he's worked for through a woman, right? That's the craziest thing ever. Then I don't even want to listen to what they advice they go give. I don't need to hear that. Because it's like
I think Kitty probably went in on her, I think.
But they didn't go in. See, they still got to keep it nice so they can get the new crowd in. But this is stuff right here. I mean, how can you live through this as a person? You so committed to getting back into the 304 streets. Now he ain't good enough. He ain't had a job. Damn, you was laid up. I was wiping your shit out your ass for 3 months. What you expect? I ain't got time to go out. We gonna sit our ass down. I mean, I done went out with you every day the whole time you was laid up. Now, can we just sit down and get mature about it? See, this is what I'm saying. Grown people are going backwards. You can't be mature about this like, oh, I almost lost my life. Baby, thank you. Ain't no man better than you. But I want to get outside. Hey, dude, where you at, man? Let me talk to you, man. I need to talk to you about 6 weeks so you can go see the world. Because, I didn't mean to come in like it, but this woman is trying to shame him. And he doesn't say her life. See, it's first, I'm going to shut up. That goes to show you how women ain't, most women, modern, crack era, post adults ain't shit. Because nobody's saying, girl, he saved your life. They like, girl, he ain't got no job, man. Come on now. She probably ain't even working. I guarantee. Look, take her ass to the park, let her get out and walk and leave her. Take her out. Take her out. She not respecting him. That's no love for him. Precious, that's no love for him. That's no love for him.
See, Coach. Yeah, Coach, you just said that was an old me before I got nice and mellow.
He works than Hank. At least Hank said leave her at the restaurant. Coach Ferguson said you take her to the park, let her out and walk.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm sure, man. You listen. That's why. Listen, that's why I'm playing. I ain't really like to playing this boyfriend girlfriend as a grown man. I ain't like that. I never defined what a woman was. You showed up and we talked, we hung out. Where you at? I'm coming through. When I come over, I want full access. When you come to me, come on in, take your shoes off, relax. You ain't got to do nothing but get woozy and get what you came to see me. But as far as this, you ain't even earning your man in that type of situation. That's wild.
Yeah, so what I said earlier, it's like she was down bad, right? Like, so, and he, he didn't leave her. He loved her and he wanted to make sure she was okay, and she being goofy, going on tonight's conversation, talking about she feel unappreciated. Like, what, like Coach Ferg said, like, what are we even talking about? Like, why is she so confident to go on tonight's conversation instead of actually talking to him, saying, hey, I know you did all of this for me, but I think I'm, want to try to go out, and hang out for a little bit, not she, I don't know, she's just going about it the wrong way. I don't agree.
I'm just reading the chat. It's just crazy.
Okay. Better?
Go ahead, keep talking.
All right, I'm going to say something.
Sounds good. Real good. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. What I was saying is that we all have natures. We have human natures.
It was good. All of a sudden, it was really good until
It faded. Sean, you must be behind the firewall or something. Man. You gotta get by a window or
you
something.
started out good. It was all, you had bass in your voice and everything. Once you started talking, it just disappeared.
Oh man, I'm gonna just listen in.
No,
I'll
now,
be quiet.
Yeah, see, it goes in and out. You behind the firewall, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going down, but everywhere I'm going.
right now, keep
That's
talking.
good.
All right, cool. So now what I was saying is that we all have natures, and we have human natures, and being able to, and nature, we want to flow, like you said earlier, Precious. But the point is, we're not flowing. She wasn't flowing in this whole scenario. The reason why we're pushing back so heavily on her is because she was flowing with just ungrateful, entitlement, and that's really a difficult thing for men who will sacrifice everything. And this man specifically highlighted his sacrifice of all else for her, and she did not appreciate it. So that's why it's a triggering thing when we hear something like that.
I think she was definitely flowing in feminine nature. She wasn't able to distinguish the flow and the dynamic of the flow. As women, we have to realize where our flow will help or where it won't, because we really are helpers. That's what we're here for, right? And so if I'm flowing and my flow is not helping, then I need to reevaluate my flow as a woman. And in this situation, she wants, and then you talked about being entitled. A lot of little girls grow up being entitled. I think we showed on this platform of the little girl who fell off the bed and she thought she was
her brother.
And she can blame her brother and go tell her parents on her brother because she's flowing in the feminine nature of I can do no wrong, pay attention to me. I need someone to, do things for me. I need people to believe me. That's flowing in feminine nature, but it's not helping. That flow is not necessarily helping any situation. You're not even helping yourself. The only time, you can really be selfish if it's someone who's trying to harm you and you're trying to protect yourself. But in any other situation, you're a woman's flow is supposed to be a helpful flow. And if it's not a helpful flow, then you should really reevaluate how you're presenting yourself and how you're showing up.
Can I get an old man mulligan in this conversation?
Sure.
Because when y'all using the word flow, man, I
was like,
I'm only thinking one thing. I'm thinking when you're talking saying flow, that's what when a woman used to say flow, I said, just stay away from me for 5 days, okay? So that's
right. But that's where that came from. Think about a woman in those 5 days, and even in days leading up to that, right? She's irrational. She's emotional. She's
You're tying them together.
entitled. That's what I'm saying. Like even during that time, that's also a huge conversation in the male and female and these groups where it's just like, well, women's like, well, you should know that when I'm, that means this isn't that. It's like, no, you need to communicate what kind of monster you are.
I mean, it's funny that me and Coach Ferg was the only one he'll sit there and say, what do you mean, Flo?
No, I knew exactly where you were going with it. But I just
he was on her flow at that meeting.
Because really, if you really think about it and stop to think about it, right? That's how she's acting. Like, you should appreciate me, and yeah, he's a great guy and he's perfect, and I have nothing bad to say about him, but we're not going on dates. And like,
but she acting like he ain't do nothing for her.
She acting like, and that type of behavior is what we need to check.
But
that's the problem. It's not checked.
Couldn't it be a hormonal thing? Couldn't it be? Forget about the flow, but it could be hormonal for the way she's thinking.
It could be in that flow that Precious was talking about.
Man, I know too many rational women to have that be an excuse. That's the excuse. The period is the excuse for every time you want to act. Okay.
It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's showing the level of maturity that she has not reached yet. For a lot of women got to bump their head 1,000,000 times before they learn a lesson. Before it's not an excuse.
Yes, it is, because they don't have to. They choose to.
Right. Everyone chooses to do whatever they want to do unless someone is literally forcing you to do it. So everyone has a choice. And I'm not saying that she's ignorant to knowing that she has to, flow in a different dynamic, but she hasn't been in a situation where, again, someone is checking it or someone is telling her, hey, I understand you may want to go out. However, let's think about the entirety of the situation. We don't know what their financial situation is. He could be working to recoup a good chunk of money that he was not able to make while he was being her caretaker. It's worrying about the bigger picture. Women, we think that the world revolves around us, and we're not looking at the bigger picture. And like I said, it usually takes a man to come in and make the realization and nip it in the bud. I think a lot of times when men and women get in relationships, there will be times where men let things slide. They'll let it slide, and so a woman feels as though she can continue in this irrational behavior. She can continue in this entitlement, and then when somebody checks her, you now become the bad guy. You now become the person who won't let her do X, Y, and Z. You now become just like every other man, when it's like, no, men come in and create order. Men thrive in chaos. And that's, where she's going, the conversation where she's going of her not being approved. What is he appreciating you for? Living, existing? Like, that it's almost like, girl, you were damn near dead, so she's not putting the whole thing in perspective because of how she's feeling as a woman.
She's lying. Just be honest, she's lying. Precious, there's no greater appreciation for you to me and me, my wife, or me to my wife, or whatever, is that if you take care of me in my most vulnerable moment in my life, I'm damn incapacitated. I can't wipe my own ass, Precious, and you take care of me, and I wake up and I see my wife looking at me like, baby, I thought I lost you. Thank you. You appreciate me, don't you? You brought me back to life. But no, I'm so selfish that here I am after this man done appreciated me with my friends, her family. Didn't nobody show up to wipe that little stinking cheek she had over her. Didn't nobody give her a bath with them big musty underarms she got over her. This man has sacrificed. That's the great, listen, there's people been in marriages 25 years, walk out if a woman gets sick. She come back from the doctor, I'm sick. Oh, well, shit, it ain't gonna work. But here she is out of her mind. She ain't even had a dream the whole time. He up there caring for appreciation. The chaos. I guarantee, maybe I'm wrong, she came from a single mama. I guarantee it. Because she don't understand the value of family taking care. It's more valuable when somebody can actually take care of you. Voluntarily. We hear it every day. Ain't no woman go cook, clean, wash dishes, fold a shirt, do nothing. Cook, read to the kids, none of that. Man want to go to work and come home and sit his ass down. I ain't doing nothing else. Dumb shit. But here's a man that has took time and didn't go. He wasn't going out. He wasn't going to get the new Buddhist. He was taking care of her. And you have the audacity. Listen, I'll shut up. If Eve did it to Adam, what the hell are we to talk about a woman doing it to us? If they did, if she showed up, because that special fruit was that little monkey. Sure, look at him. Oh, damn, is that what it is? He got up in there. He got up in there, and that was that special fruit that men have been gone for millennia. So the fact that, I just have a problem with this whole thing because, listen, if my wife we talk about these things, man, I'm right there. I'm taking to the appointments. I'm trying to get out. Man, I'm calling everybody. Look, I need some free shit. My wife is over here. I need some free shit. I ain't take me out to dinner. Man, please. You're going to see me out here doing fucking cooking shows. Yeah. But
you see all of us.
There's a man wipe the sweat off your brow, musty underarms. You better wake up and say, I love you to the end of days. What are we talking about? F the kids, man. The kids, they don't care about the kids, man.
Well, I was going to say, when she, you got to think about the type of surgery that she had. Like Coach Ferg said, she had brain surgery. Like she didn't have no, outpatient surgery that, she was back at it the next day. Like he was taking care of her. He was taking her to her appointments, probably, trying to, because, when you have that type of surgery, like you have to, when people have strokes, you have to like bring pictures around them so they can actually, you can help them remember who they are, who the people that's closer to you are. Because like sometimes they won't remember you when you like come around. They will ask ask questions like they got dementia and they won't know you. And so I've experienced this with my brother and my mom. They had strokes, so like we had to do this. So I'm speaking from experience, so I know like what that is, and that's a lot of work. It ain't she ain't having a tooth pulled and coming back home the next day. Like he wiping her butt, he probably cooking for her, having somebody cook for her, or he ordering food, or whatever the case, like he was doing, and she just was not. You could tell she is not appreciative, like at all.
And the thing is, we enjoy making your lives comfortable. We enjoy taking care of you. We don't enjoy the lack of appreciation or gratitude when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it boils down to. That's why we all are kind of somewhat triggered from that type of video and those type of behaviors. And there is no excuse to it. There is no considering something. The fact is, no, it's outright bad behavior and it needs to be corrected. Period. As a leader, that's what we're telling you. And that is just nothing else to be said.
Amen.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, for her to go to this show to ask this question, it should be a, redirect this to him and report back. Because this is something that she needs to speak to him about. And you gave that scenario of Eve. and that fruit and that monkey. That's what you said. That's what you said. But you know, after that, it was, you know, Adam, where you at? You know, and it's not a sense of I don't know where you at because God know where everybody at, right? It's a sense of what you gonna do. How you gonna rectify this? How are you gonna present yourself? How are you going to explain this? And that's in essence, that's what it is. That's where God holds the man accountable, saying, you know, are you going to continue to be passive or not address the situation? Where you at? What's going on? Or are you going to stand up and be the man that I created you to be? Right. And so this is a conversation that she needs to have with him. And based off of his response, based off of his hopefully correction, based off of him saying, you know, I understand as a woman, you may want to do X, Y, and Z. However, this is not the time. Okay. There's a lot of times where growing up, my dad, this is not the time for that. No, we're not getting this now. No, we're not buying it. No, we're not going on this trip. No, we're not, you know, that is part of order, structure.
You're absolutely right. And I know where you're coming from, but you're asking this dude to do something that Adam couldn't even do. Because if he would have done what you just said, all of our men's life would be so much better.
Don't go there, Arpane. To show all of us how to live. So Adam couldn't get it right. You're right about that. He couldn't get it right. But then you know what God said? You know what? I'm gonna have to send my freaking son. Because y'all just don't know what I'm gonna have to send my son to show y'all how to get it done. Okay, now you
can get it done.
So
don't go there and be like, oh well, Adam couldn't get it right. So
Adam was the first simp. He was the first simp. And my story of Adam and Eve is real simple. She came to him after she digressed, and whatever it is that she asked him to partake about, he did. And the very first thing he said was, "Wow, Eve, you got a fat ass." And
you saw that video too, huh?
That's exactly what happened.
She turned around on him like,
dang. You didn't even notice she was naked. As soon as why you covered up? Man, you know, I looked at Eve, man, she got this move.
Oh man.
What's going on? I don't even know what's going on. I got a boner and everything.
Oh man,
that's the story of Adam and Eve. Oh, excuse me, I was just dodging a lightning bolt.
I will say this, you know, back in the day, people used to take pride in taking care of their parents, taking care of their spouses. You know, that was the biggest honor for me, doing like whatever, like my mom got sick, doing whatever she needed, right? And I just feel like not everyone, but there's a subset of people that don't take that into high regard, right? Like, so her husband or boyfriend or whoever, you know, whatever the title is that he has, she definitely was not thankful or appreciative at all. And I would really love to see an update on that. And that's all I got to say.
3 a.m. though. Let me ask you this. Let me say this to you real quick. And this is the difference, because you're right. People used to look at it as an honor, but the parents were much better back then too. I loved your mother because she earned it. The parents, a lot of parents today, man, their kids wouldn't even give them a drink of water because their parents were shit. You know, and if you expect me to come back and take care of you, you know what I'm saying? And you made my life a living hell by the way you live. Don't bet on that. Right? That's why a lot of women make their son husbands, because they ain't gonna get no man. They're gonna make him try to be the de facto. So yeah, but the parents in the past deserved those kind of things for what they did for their families and their kids. I'm not so sure from Gen Z or Gen Xers down, Gen Xers down, you know. I'm not so sure. It started to wane if you start looking at it. You know, so parents have been terrible, man. So, and they expect their kids to do what their kids don't want to do. Plus, their kids can't live like they used to.
I think anyway,
that's parental. That's just my thought on it. You know,
there might be some validity to parental, but societal takes a
Okay, right. Yeah.
as Coach Ferg, the crack era. There's a lot of different elements that attribute to this type of behavior.
I agree.
Nonetheless, it doesn't negate that it's bad behavior, and that's what needs to be addressed. We have a lot of different roots and reasons and places of where it started and why it continues. But in order to get a resolution to it, we have to identify and resolve those roots and tend to those roots so that we can grow better and get in better places.
Knock on wood.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I believe what I'm hearing from everyone is that the behavior needs to be checked. The behavior is a behavior, and usually behavior in women is usually and needs to be checked when they're younger.
Absolutely.
Because the older a woman gets, the more out of control and more entitled. And I'm a grown woman now. It's like, I should be living my life when you should be grateful for life, right? You should be grateful for the person who was there by your side to make sure that you continue to have life. And so and all in all, it's the behavior of feeling entitled to attention that should be shed on the relationship and not just on you. Because when it was your turn to be taken care of and be comforted and nurtured and brought back to life, that was done. And so, now it's time to do the same and be there and see how you can, help him and assist and, see where the deficits now lie because of your health issues. I think if that was the focus, then going out or doing whatever you would want to do, I don't think that he would have an issue with doing that. But right now, the overall concern and the overall, focus is to get back financially in a place where you can do, maybe you're not in a place where you can do, financially, maybe you're just not in a place to do
Precious,
But
it's hard
Precious,
for
I'm
me
not
to
gonna be.
even
Go ahead.
identify or embrace that chink in the armor because she's at tonight's conversation, which is not free. So she had finances to get there. So that just puts a hole in that whole concept that you just described. She's just ungrateful.
Yeah, she had her finances to get there, but
No, we can't say that.
And no,
cannot say
we ain't separating her and I now that I've taken care of you. That's just ungrateful. The behavior of her. There is no excuses for her behavior. Finances, upbringing.
I'm not saying that the finances is an excuse for her behavior. I'm saying the finances is a reason why she should question, like she should do a double take on her behavior, because that was a issue or a deficit in a relationship when he was taking care of her. The fight he didn't work, and so based upon him not being able to work, she should put two and two together, in her grown mind and say, there has been months where he was not working, and I can understand where he now wants to stack or he wants to save.
She should have spent that money and took him on a date. That's what she really
took him on the
Yeah.
date. Thank you, baby,
That's why
for
I keep
saving my
saying
life.
it ain't a financial thing. She put two and two together.
Take me to get a steak.
Two and two $50 bills to get that $125 ticket to go to tonight's conversation.
Right, but it was for her.
It don't. That's the problem. This is what we're talking about.
Sean, sweetheart, we're saying the same thing. I'm not saying it against you. We're saying the same exact thing. Okay, I'm not saying.
I'm sorry. I'm just triggered by that selfish behavior. I'm sorry.
For the money should be for the relationship, just like the care and love that he has for her is for the relationship. He took that 50 and that 50, and she went to go have a good time by herself. And so she should reevaluate her behavior because she's not thinking about the relationship like he was thinking about the relationship. Is what I'm saying.
I hear you now. I'm sorry. I was just triggered. Forgive me.
I'm gonna say this real quick, Precious. You know what the unique thing from yourself and even our pain situation, right? You are a daughter, and our pain has daughters. You know what? I'm think I'm almost 100%. I could be off. Our pain. You correct me. That there has been times as a father he had to check his daughters.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And there has been time as a daughter you've been checked by a father, right? And this is the dynamic that we up against now. A lot of these women that move like that, they ain't been checked by the father of a person of authority. So they've been getting free will through. By the time most young ladies become teenagers, mothers just let them run free reign like the sun. Go ahead. So that's why we see pregnancies, young girls doing wild, getting peed on, all this wild stuff because they never had somebody to check it over time. Somebody that's by default is always the father who is the best man to check a girl. So she knows that by the time she leave the house, she understands that there's boundaries with men that I can't go to. And it's unfortunate. A lot of, hey, listen, man, I don't know. The age difference, I don't know, but that little special generation of mine, your male and female peers, them motherfuckers a little slow. They're a little slow, Precious. And I mean it with love, right? Because they making bad adult decisions. And they're not doing it once. Listen, I don't believe in no mistakes no more after 30. Your ass is intentionally diving in the shit pool and then complaining that it smell like shit when you're in the pool. So I just don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Precious. Like you said, you have brain surgery. You damn near got to it's like your power going out on your internet. You got to reboot that shit. She was rebooted. This man gave his life for her to get back to health. And instead of her appreciating it, she ran to the streets to tell the world that he ain't shit, y'all. This nigga wiped my ass, and guess what? He ain't shit. Yeah, girl. Everybody in there should have been like, girl, you a fool. That should have been and I don't care about feelings but when you come with that, I'm scared of stuff like that. People like that, I stay away from. I don't want to drink wine with you. I don't want to go in the bar. I don't do stuff like that. When people shit on other people intentionally, I just thank God that I've been able to sort of navigate through that with people. Because I don't give you show me the shit. Oh, you smell like shit. You can put all the perfume on everything. Oh, your ass stink. But that was just bad. That was just bad for her. And again, we'll see what the sisterhood say.
Yeah, no, I think that they did speak towards her.
It's not confirmed that they did that. It's alleged, right? It's not confirmed.
No, I think Kitty say something, but it was,
a couple of people did check her.
It was too much love and compassion.
I can't remember the response, but I do know that it simmered down my triggeredness when I was listening to it. Because I was triggered when I heard it. I was like, yo, I was screaming, yo, this little, I was cursing out. But
you need to hear what you said, though, Coach. Heard what you said.
But nah, seriously, they did kind of address it, but the way that we're addressing it, I think, is more suitable. I wish she was my daughter so that I can share with her how ungrateful she's being, and that I'm probably the one who helped her get there so that I can reel her back in.
Yeah, and it starts with parenting. So, he may have had parents who nurtured him and loved him and, showed him what love really is. And she sounds like she was in a home where, mom was always going and, she needed someone to really take her under their wing to show her what nurture and love and sacrifice and reciprocity really looks like. Because when you don't see it, it's not an excuse, Sean. It's just it's not in your nature, right? Because it's not in your environment. It's just not in your repertoire of cards to to enact, to pull out, to resemble. You just don't know. It's literally ignorant presented to you, and unfortunately, it comes out looking like that. A lot of times, you can tell children, young adults, teens. You could tell who's been raised in a home with two parents, and you can tell who hasn't. It's just evident in a lot of different mannerisms, activities, respect, and all of that. So it's evident. So we're gonna move on to the next video. I appreciate you guys for being in the chat, engaging. Thank you. We're gonna move on. We've spent enough time on that topic. So a lady calls into a podcast, and forgive me for not knowing the names of these podcasts other than Ace Metaphors. I meant to put them in the banners. I usually give credit, so forgive me for not knowing the full names of these podcasts. But a lady calls in and wants to know if she's a jerk for how she handled a situation at her husband's birthday dinner.
Uh-oh.
For telling my husband's family why I really left in the middle of his birthday party, or his birthday dinner, rather. Right. I left my husband 3 weeks ago, and until now, I'd been telling everyone the same vague line that we've been taking some space and trying to figure things out. Yesterday was his 31st birthday, and his family expected me to come because apparently keeping things civil matters more than our reality. Okay. I went because his mother kept saying that I was making it a harder time, and honestly, I thought I could get through one dinner. About 20 minutes in, his sister started joking that I was being dramatic for moving out over a few arguments, and that I always make him sound so scary when he is just intense. That set me off. I said that I did not leave over arguments. I left because he used to take my phone at night so that I wouldn't embarrass us by texting friends when we fought. I left because he made me stand in doorways and repeat entire conversations back to him until I got the wording that he wanted correct. I left because if I cried, he would calmly tell me that I was performing and then kept talking until I stopped. I left because once he found a receipt in my bag from a cafe that I had went to alone and didn't speak to me for 2 days until I wrote out where I had been, who was there, and why I hadn't mentioned it. And I left because the last time we argued, he smiled and said very quietly, "No one will ever is going to believe this version of you over me." The table went dead silent. His mother started crying. His sister called me cruel for doing that in public. And my husband said that I was trying to destroy him because I knew his family would never look at him the same again. I said maybe they shouldn't. I grabbed my coat and left, and my phone has been blowing up ever since. Am I a jerk?
Hell no.
So they do give their reasoning, and as you can hear, the guy said, "Hell no." But what do you guys think? Is she a jerk for telling her family the real reason why she has exited stage left of her husband?
But before we go, can we just go through it one more time?
Of course.
Real quick.
Absolutely not.
Were you?
Would I be the jerk for telling my husband's family why I really left in the middle of his birthday party, or his birthday dinner, rather? Right. I left my husband 3 weeks ago, and until now, I'd been telling everyone the same vague line that we've been taking some space and trying to figure things out. Yesterday was his 31st birthday, and his family expected me to come because apparently keeping things civil matters more than our reality. Okay. I went because his mother kept saying that I was making it a harder time, and honestly, I thought I could get through one dinner.
So it seems like she didn't want to go to the dinner, and the mom begged her to go, and she pretty much went because the mom was like, "Hey, it's his birthday, you're with him. Can you show up?"
Yep.
About 20 minutes in, his sister started joking that I was being dramatic for moving out over a few arguments and that I always make him sound so scary when he is just intense.
So now we getting drinks and bread, and sis want to go in. Sis, sit, girl, you dramatic. Pass the butter.
First of all, it ain't none of his sister problems. Who cares what your family think? If that's your wife, like, what are we even talking about? Like, if y'all in trouble, like if y'all got problems, that's different. But like, if y'all still married, why you ain't look? And I always reference back in the day, like even if I was mad at my girl, I'm still gonna celebrate her. That's different. Those differences don't matter when you're in public. Like you're supposed to have those. You're supposed to iron out those in private, where nobody knows what's going on. Like my parents always used to argue, but we never knew it because they did it in a place where they might go outside or they might be, they just go somewhere where we weren't involved in whatever they were talking about. Because we're kids, we ain't supposed to know. They adults. We stay in kids' places, and a lot of people like to be in people's business. They want to start the drama. They want to get things going. When most of the time, those are people who ain't got no man and always trying to, tell somebody what to do when they ain't even got a relationship.
Brother, that's his fault. That's his fault. It's a typical Precious. I'm gonna say this to you. You make sure when you get a man, he come from a 2-parent home. Don't you get no baby mama raised boy who go run over his mama house every time y'all get into it. It ain't gonna work out because they gonna do you just like they did her. Why? He is passionate. No, that nigga crazy. Making excuses for the nigga. He tried.
They all think the world of him.
But he's not being real. He's faking. Because he get into it with his wife. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And she's got some suspicious behaviors. She got some suspicious behaviors. Listen, in today's world,
go Bruiser. He came from.
I recommend. Listen, I'm gonna track my But Bruiser, you went to the military. You got your head together. Some of these dudes they stayed at home, ain't got their head together. It's a different mindset, brother. But again. If he's okay, her behavior, okay, he should know where she's at now. Don't be finding no receipts to coffee shop because now you got to explain it, right? Because you didn't mention that you went there and get some coffee, so it's always some suspicion. But it's something with him though, because he should be able to at least have those conversations with his wife and not run to his. The worst people you can run to is your sister and your mama and your cousin, because guess what? When y'all make up, they still mad. All in your business. All, you know what I'm saying? So it's a bad look. And he's young. He's 30. Listen, he's second generation. He the second generation. I'm 30. So it's part of the dynamic of how they was raised. Yeah. So but a man, you know what I'm saying? If he had a relationship with his father, that could be something that they could iron out, him and his father giving them sound advice and letting them know, boy, get your shit together. Now you got a wife, or not running to mama. Yeah, it's her fault. So it's just a bad, you know what I'm saying? A bad on both parts. But she's sneaky. She's doing stuff sneaky.
On your child's relationship either. It's one. It should go both ways. You shouldn't be running to your parents with all of your relationship issues, and parents shouldn't be so eager to be involved in your relationship. Keep your distance.
Well, she moved out, right? She's already moved out.
Yeah.
Right, and the mother asked her to come to this because she didn't want to come.
Right.
Right. So she wanted to spare everybody what was going on between the two of them because she didn't want to go. Listen, the dude, the way
Family.
if whatever she said, if anything that she said was true, this guy was spiraling to begin with. If you had to do all of this stuff because you're worried about your chick, if you already lost,
it's been over.
you already lost. You know, and one of the things I think men need to understand: if you're married and you and your wife split, you got to divorce her. You have to divorce her. Because as soon as she starts getting bust down, she get pregnant, that kid's yours.
Yes.
You know, so, you know, there's no such thing as a separation. It's a dangerous thing for a man. In Louisiana, you could divorce your wife, but if she gets pregnant within 300 days, that kid's still yours.
Wow.
Dang, for real?
Yes.
Ain't no way.
Judge, like, you better wait them 300 days. Not.
They ain't gonna wait, Precious.
They ain't waiting.
It's like your bad credit. Give them 90 days tops. Don't let it go from April to August. Oh, it's over. They outside from April to August. It's over.
You know.
No way. No.
Oh wait, you're muted. I think it mutes everybody when even
though it's he's at fault with this split, he's got to move on. She needs to file for divorce from this guy. That's what she did. You know, I don't think he's going to change. You know, and he needs to know he's not getting her back. Not if he's going to remain the same the way he is. So this relationship is over. I don't know if they have children. Then that's the shame part of it.
Yeah, I think she felt shamed for if she wasn't going to be in attendance, and that's why she showed up. But that's how you know that the family is so deep involved in what is actually going on in their relationship. You know, and if someone is trying to keep their distance because they know that there is friction in a relationship. They know that there are things going on in a relationship, and they don't want any chance of that. I think she tried to spare him, actually, of not going. You know, she didn't want there to be any chance of any type of public scene or public rejection. You know, she didn't want that to take place. But again, trying to appease him and his family, she went and
let him have it.
15 minutes in, and called dramatic. Now I'm gonna have to really tell y'all what's really going on, because obviously what you've been hearing hasn't been a factual depiction of what's actually going on in our relationship.
I put it on him.
It takes a lot for. It should take a hell of a lot for someone who you're married to get to a point where she's now airing out the business, because she has, you know, everyone thinks one thing when it's really another thing. And something that they shouldn't be involved in the first place.
I put it on him because the mother and the sister should never have even known what was going on.
Right.
He had. So
yeah, I agree.
It's his fault, and he needs to straighten that out, because whether she has reasons to feel that way or not, you know, is irrelevant. The point is, he shouldn't have even been open mouth to where they knew anything of what he was going through, period. And if he didn't do that, that's why you have that issue right now.
Yep.
So she wasn't the jerk. Is that what everyone's saying? She wasn't the jerk?
Even if she was, it was his fault.
Yeah.
Because she did publicly out him. You know how y'all men feel about being publicly.
Nope. He publicly outed them when he started bringing it to his sister and his mother. She just relayed it. She said, "Oh, y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk." So
want to talk about sorry.
But okay, the coffee date was setting up the booty. Y'all ever heard that from the old penitentiary movie?
Mm-hmm.
Set the booty up right. We meet, we have coffee. Hey, I'm married. All right, cool. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Now she got a communication with somebody else because she never mentioned it, right? So I'm assuming that
I thought she did explain the coffee.
she said he went through her pockets and found her old receipt. That's what I heard. But
Yeah, but I thought she explained that. Did we finish going through it the second time?
That set me off. I said that I did not leave over arguments. I left because he used to take my phone at night so that I wouldn't embarrass us by texting friends when we fought. I left because he made me stand in doorways and repeat entire conversations back to him until I got the wording that he wanted correct. I left because if I cried, he would calmly tell me that I was performing and then kept talking until I stopped. I left because once he found a receipt in my bag from a cafe that I had went to alone and didn't speak to me for 2 days until I wrote out where I had been, who was there, and why I hadn't mentioned it. And I left because the last time we argued, he smiled and said very quietly, "No one will ever is going to believe this version of you over me."
no one.
Out the whole maps of that day that she went to the cafe. She had to tell who she was with, what time, what they ordered.
You know how I got on. You know how I got on the girl last time and said there's no excuses. Well, this time it's on him. There's no excuses for his behavior. That's some bull crap. He needs to be checked. His manhood, the way he is approaching things, need to be checked, and he need to change that. Period. There's no excuses for any of that stuff she just described.
It seemed like a little psychopath, if you ask me, right? Because he's controlling, he's manipulating. No one will ever believe you over me,
right? And he don't trust
especially my mom and my sister, because I'm gonna take you over my mom and not my daddy and granddaddy, uncle. You gonna see my mom and my sisters, so they gonna try to shame you because I do this to girls all the time.
Yeah, this is all him.
Well, that last one sounds like
all
a threat.
him. I can't even put it on her whatsoever.
Like
this is all him.
Yeah, that sounds like a threat.
Yeah. Taking your phones. You know that's torture. I'm taking your phone so you can't text and stand in the corner, count to 10 backwards and say the words.
Treating her like a 10-year-old.
I wish I could.
Humiliating, It's am I your woman, your wife, or am I your child or your gigapet or something? I don't know.
Property.
I believe he was doing something.
Well, the only thing that's her fault is he had to be exhibiting something.
Yeah, those who can't trust can't be trusted, and he was bullying her. It's all on him. He's a poor excuse for a man.
He had to exhibit some of this stuff before they got married.
Yeah, for sure.
She still said I do to a guy like this. Mm-hmm. There was something about him. Maybe he has money. You know how a lot of women want guy with finances, provider. Mm-hmm. So they got it. And she got trick bagged, man. Okay, I got money, but in order for you to live this life, your life is going to be a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. He sounds bad to me, God, I mean, she has
what that mean, Coach?
Hey, man, you know how zigatoids are, man. You know how they are. They funny as hell.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole thing, you don't hear anything about her family. He was her ear. No one's gonna believe this version of me. And that nobody he's talking about is his family. And again, leave and cleave.
Did the women reading that? The woman reading that, did she have a bull nose ring in a septum ring?
I thought she did. Look like
I
saw a lot of small parts. No,
you can't see it down. You got to see it when because
she got one. This one
went dead silent. His mother started crying.
That's one in there. This one in there is just clutch. Yeah,
am I a jerk?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Where you show out
for him being verbally.
Where you show out,
like
that's where you get your ass.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And then how you gonna commentate on my relationship with your brother? You don't sleep with him. You don't live with him.
Well, we don't know
Oh,
where they from.
We don't.
is that-
You know, I can't speak too
Is that
soon.
somewhere in the South? I won't say.
Look, can't speak too soon. I don't know.
He sounds crazy. It's giving Christian Bale and American Psycho.
It's giving what?
I told you,
American
Psycho.
Yes, that's right.
American Psycho?
Yes,
Yeah.
he crazy.
What?
He crazy.
He crazy.
Nick says in Virginia, there's paperwork you can file so that the actual father can be put on the birth certificate. It's acknowledgement of paternity or something like that.
Well, don't sign it without a DNA. Don't acknowledge anything without a DNA.
I don't
You
sign
be a
nothing
fool.
without my lawyer.
You go broke for the next 40 years, and you don't do it if you don't do it.
Even what she just put, even what was just put up there says that there's a step that because you're going to be presumed the father unless the guy agrees to sign. If I know that listen, I banged out your wife, it was good, it was okay. She gets pregnant, and I don't want this chick, and if she gets pregnant, I'm leaving. I'm not signing that paper. You paying for all the
She coming back to me.
Right?
You the daddy.
Your kid look just like me, but you the husband.
No
Boom.
thanks.
Matter of fact, I might stay in town for a little while just to see how the kid grows up.
So you come back to
Say, why you
Stay
paying
the
for
block.
all this? I'm only joking, man. It's the most horrible thing in the world. You know where that comes from? Old British stuff, almost 500 years old. It was one of the things that was adopted by the colonists when they came here. They never changed. Yeah.
All right, so we concluded she's good. She's not crazy. She's not a jerk. He was just doing.
No, they're both crazy.
Most.
They deserve each other.
Good point. Good point.
Well, what was her problem then? 3M. What's her problem? What did she do?
Well, why is she telling her business to everybody in the world?
You mean at the dinner? What?
Look, if
She
your
telling her
family,
friends after the
yeah,
fight. That's
if
what
your
she-
friends and family know every intricate detail about your relationship, she could tell anybody. Like, if he ain't beating her, if he ain't abusing her, if he treating her right, there are things you can get over. There's things you can work out. Like,
Oh, that's true.
if she just complaining because of the way, I don't agree with some of the things that she mentioned, but like, it don't seem like he was abusing her. It doesn't seem like, unless she just covered that up, right? Like, unless she just didn't
I
want to
think it
mention
was
that.
more of emotional and
Yeah.
psychological abuse. I don't think
Mhm.
you have to be beaten on somebody to
Right.
abuse them. I think that if
Yeah.
someone doesn't have the capacity to, know how to emotionally love you, and they say things like no one's going to believe you, that's
Mhm.
almost like telling a child, don't tell nobody that we doing this, right? It's like
Yeah.
I can't trust you, because now if something is to happen and I say that you did hit me physically, no one's going to believe me because of this persona that you are, that you have with me versus you have with your family. And you're like a two-faced, person. You're one way with them, but then behind closed doors, you're another way with me. I don't think that you can trust someone like that. I don't think that you can even love someone like that, because they don't love themselves enough to be them fully around everyone. You shouldn't have to be different in front of different people to be accepted as who you are as a person. If
Right,
that's
that's probably possible.
Well, the husband though, the husband set the whole scenario up, right?
Mhm.
From the standpoint that he has his mother and his sister believing that she moved out because of whatever reason she did, and he's some innocent guy. They forced her or they coerced her to come to this daggone dinner, and she's in an environment with a whole bunch of hostile energies around her.
Mhm.
And she said, "I'm gonna let these assholes have it." This is why that's why she went down that list. She had enough. You could believe what you want to believe, but I'm gonna let this shit out. I'm gonna let you know from my perspective You don't have to believe me. This is why I moved out. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And, you know, so you can still believe what you want to believe, but I want you to know from my perspective, it hasn't been peachy keen. I didn't just leave this dude. I left because of these things. Now, of course, there's always another side to the story, but they already know one side of the story, his. Yeah. Now they heard hers.
But sometimes I think family just think they obligated to know all your business.
Well, yeah, that's a different story. But I agree with you there. But
they be, they be wanting to know everything. Like,
But he started it by opening up what was happening. He didn't start that.
His sister is the one who started the conversation at the table.
Because they was already ready. They was already waiting for it.
Yeah, they was ready for her to get
there. It was hot and ready.
And like you bring her, the mother, his mother, it's like, can I take my husband's mother, right? She brings her to the lion's den. Like, you're bringing her into the lion's den, so don't get mad when she snapped on you.
Yeah, that's right.
All of y'all against her. That's not right.
Yeah, and you've been feeding the lions. You've been feeding the lions her scent. So not only did you walk in, you've been feeding them all of this nonsense that had her remnants on it.
He already set her up, right? He already told her no one would believe you. So, and this is where when it comes to, but this is where I think, as far as early in life, people get married young because obviously they were young, right? That's why it's important to make sure family knows family, right? Because if this is getting to this point, then both of them have been talking outside of their marriage. Somebody, big uncle, father, but again, when you have baby mama situations, you might not get this. Somebody should have to say, what? Man, let's get these two together, man. What's going on? She over here saying one thing, he over here saying something else. What y'all got going on over here? Because y'all keep running to each other's parents and friends and all that. That shit ain't gonna work. Because now y'all make back up. Everybody else walking around mad about your marriage. Now they come on YouTube, all men cheat, all women ain't shit. When was the last time you was married? I ain't been married, but I see my closest friend and man, come on, man. Why can't we ain't talking about their 30s. Some people in the black community say 30 is young. Fuck that. You didn't know you're an adult. You've been out here mugging around in the mud, so you're an adult.
Busting it open.
But it goes to show how disconnected when two people come together, the family, listen, Precious, I can know how you live when I go to your place, when I go over your family and all of them look with their tight jeans on and sagging, I know what you come from. When they come over and hang out and they start talking about cuz and bro, let me hold $20. I'm gonna have a conversation with you for, hey, tell them niggas don't come over asking me for nothing. Now, that when I see them, I'll tell them myself, but you might go over to mama's house and you're gonna have to relay the messages because when they see me, they either go come with me with some respect or they go come with me that same energy. Then hey, did you talk to her? Oh no, I ain't had that. Wasn't you over there Sunday? Yeah, but we ain't get around. No, it's your obligation to say, hey, this is my man. This is my woman. But people, they ain't doing it for the love of the game. They just doing it to look good. But we'll see. Because these are young adults. Millennials, ain't they millennials?
Yeah.
See if they're 30.
24.
Second generation. They the kids of the first generation.
That's Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah, see.
Everybody grown until there's a mistake made. Or until something happened. Everybody, I'm grown. Who you telling? And then once they F up, all of a sudden, well, I was young. Please understand. Oh boy, and that's not gender specific.
If you ain't, Sean, you're right. Shout out to the slow kids of the world. not the special needs, just the slow kids. Well, slow adults of the world. But special needs, that's a difference, You just do shit dumb and then blame somebody else.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All in all, I think that, having your family in your business, period. It ain't even gotta be a relationship. I just don't think that you should commingle the two. But especially your relationship. And like I said, it does depend on what type of relationship you have with your parents as well. But your relationship should never be a topic of discussion between your family and you, because like y'all said, y'all could make up, the couple could make up, and the parents or the family is still mad, or they still feel some type of way. And y'all probably done been on 3 trips since the breakup, and you're still getting a side eye, from the sister or the mom or whoever. And it's just not a good idea. And so, she felt as though the best option for her was to walk away from the situation, because they had already had their mind up. And like I said, when someone tells you, no one's ever going to believe you, that type of talk, which is equivalent to telling the child, don't tell anybody, that to me is like predatory. Like, I can do anything to you and no one's going to believe you. Like, you know what I mean? No one's going to believe anything you say. I think a man saying something like that to a woman, I would have ran too. I would, like, huh? It's almost like that joke on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, whatever the social you be on. And it's a joke where they're in the woods, like 2 people are in the woods, and they're like, oh, if you were to scream, no one would hear you. And they're like, huh? What'd you say? And you're like, oh, I said something about ice cream and da da da. And they're like, no, you didn't. You said if I'm screaming, nobody will hear me. It makes you question the trust that you have in the person that is in front of you. When it makes you question it. It makes you think twice about the relationship. What are you really here for? How do you really feel about me? It's just not. It's a selfish state of mind, and he's very selfish to the point where his sister is coming to his defense as if they're dating. Right. Brother, I'm not gonna get in between and in the middle of his affairs, no matter who comes to me, and that that's y'all got to work that out. But I'm doggone sure ain't going have dinner and sit down and be like, so you was dramatic the other day when you did like I couldn't even, like, that's none of my business. That's y'all business. So I just don't. I do not recommend. Do not recommend at all. Yeah, the world, to come into the world for approval and validation. Unfortunately, folks don't want to do the actual work of investing in themselves and actually go into a professional, someone who can, listen to your stories and keep it confidential and, be able to guide you in a healthy direction. The coming to the world for approval and validation is actually lazy. It's a lazy tactic on trying to work on yourself, when in all actuality, you are trying to validate your current feelings instead of going somewhere where you can actually regulate them and probably work through these issues. Again, someone telling me that, no one's ever going to believe you or da-da-da-da. Like, I don't know if that's workoutable, because again, I'm looking at you like, well, did they hide a body for you? Like, what's going on? Like, that's what I would feel. But other than that, I think that, coming to the internet and trying to seek validation and things, that it's the lazy way out, because you'll have a whole bunch of unhealed people telling you what they would do, what they wouldn't do. And now there's no clarity. It's a whole bunch of riffraff that you didn't even have to, have enter into your situation had you just been a little bit proactive and invested in yourself, and could have, probably worked it out quietly, silently, behind closed doors. But everybody want to work everything out on the internet, and so we're here for it. we'll give you the advice. We'll tell you where you may have gone wrong and things of that nature. But none of us are licensed professionals, so you ain't even gotta listen to us, child. Okay,
We listen and we judge.
look, okay. It is what it is. But as long as y'all keep bringing it to the internet, we're gonna keep reviewing it and seeing where in real life we can do things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from the laziness of others. All right, so I'm going to get this last video up here. Now, this video I came across, and I was like, wow, did somebody really call in and want to discuss this? But at the same time, I think it's important that we discuss it, because when women give birth, men don't go through any changes whatsoever. And some men are, very cognizant of that, and they, are like, well, I don't go through any changes. And so I know that I have to be here for her because she's going through all the changes. However, during that time, the attention is not so much so on the man as much as it is on the woman, because at a time where attention should be on the woman when she gives birth, brings life into this world, it's not received in the best way. And I wanted to go over this just to get you guys' perspective, the audience, the viewers, definitely chime in. And hopefully we can learn something as well by reviewing this video.
We've had our son 9 months ago.
Oh, shit.
She's a good mom.
Here we go, StreamYard.
My issue is that we have not had sex since the week before she gave birth to our son.
The week before she gave birth, which means she was big mama, like throwing it back, 9 months, let's keep that in mind.
Understand that she had an emergency C-section, and that was a lot on her.
Emergency C-section is a surgery that leaves a scar that does not allow a woman to move the way a woman who gives birth naturally can move and snap back and keep it moving after, having that surgery.
She decided not to go back to work because she didn't want to leave the baby with anyone, and I was okay with that for the first 6 months. She has postpartum depression. I don't really appreciate her having postpartum depression.
Ooh. You see the face over here? You see the dude on the right, like, huh? Hey.
When she should be focused on getting her body back right and making love to me. Because of her postpartum depression stuff, both my mom and her mom are always at the house, so that should give her enough time to fix herself up, go on a date with me, and have sex. I love my son and I love my wife, but I'm at my wit's end. How long will this depression last? I miss my fun, exciting wife. What can I do to help her? Am I right for feeling like if she doesn't have sex with me, she needs to go back to work and the baby needs to go to daycare?
Not if she don't have sex with me, she gotta go back to work. Oh, that was the end. If she don't have sex with him, she's gonna have to go to back. She's gonna have to go to work, and the baby's gonna have to go to daycare. Everybody gotta get out.
Another example of a despicable man, a selfish man, and this is despicable. What we were talking about in the last video and this video, the root of it all is just some selfish nonsense that we always identify in women, but here it is in 2 cases where I'm identifying it in a man: selfish, immature behavior, and it's horrible.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he is not he is nowhere near sensitive to what she's going through right now. Like, obviously we can't have babies, so we don't know what that process is like, carrying somebody for 9 months, then having a C-section, and then her, that takes a while for them to get back, in a good mindset in their body, some people are just not they're not empathetic or not sensitive to what people are going through. And like all he cared about is going. He like the last lady. He like the lady who had brain surgery.
Exactly.
But she don't feel appreciated. You know, so like, yeah, he out of order. And he need a reality check, and he need to go talk to somebody that actually can give him some advice.
All right. So you done? Well, first, I don't believe in the premise that when a man's wife is going through pregnancy, it doesn't impact him. I don't believe in that at all.
Mm-hmm.
He might not have the same kind. Say what?
It doesn't impact his. He doesn't go through the.
No. But postpartum is not just about her body; it's a mental state too. So there's more than that, right? So to say the man doesn't go through anything, I categorically reject that premise. I do. We could argue about it, right? I got a couple of kids. I know what we went through to have them. So I don't believe that. Now, does that give him any excuse to be like a jerk? But it could be a symptom through what he went through, right? His own depression. He needs therapy for that kind of stuff, right? He's putting his angst on the wrong person. You know, so he's got to give his wife grace for what she went through. And if he can't do that, then he's a cad. But you can get help for those kind of things. Just like you might have to give grace to your wife who doesn't even want to see your Johnson while she's going through the postpartum. You know, and you can't blame it all. She all of a sudden this, that. Everything for her has changed, right? With the first kid, right? So, yeah. Is his thing as deep as hers? Probably not, because of the physical part of it. But you know, he's going through something.
Yeah.
And we could dismiss it as him just being a jackass. And maybe he is. Okay, I'll leave you some percentage. But he might be going through some mental shit for it too, because of the way they used to be together.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way I look at it. So, I mean, I'm not taking what y'all said off the table. I'm just saying there's a possibility that he could get help with what he needs. And if nobody understands that that could be where his mindset is, he'll never get the work. He'll never get the help that he really needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this would be a good time for both of them to get some individual therapy. Counseling, not necessarily therapy, but counseling. Somebody can sort of mine out what are their issues, because I believe like our pain, both of them are going through something, but then also be a good time at some point to have some type of family therapy counseling, because if they had this connection prior to the pregnancy, and obviously we know C-sections are very hard. It takes a lot out of a woman. So she probably has that visual, and he might not have that. You know, when you have a baby, you know, we love the baby, we care for the baby, but it ain't the same as women fake it to be in this modern world. But I think, you know, like Arpain said, they both could use some good counseling, some advice, because he's focused on himself. F the babies is what they do, not what they say. Because that's a good time to sort of get her back in the mood. When I take the little big head baby and milk it and feed it and walk it and get the baby out of her sight for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ride. I can take the baby to the grocery store. I know how to buckle in. You know what I'm saying? I know how to take the thing. You know, people just don't know how to do basic shit no more. And it's a lost art when you're taking care of something that's precious to you. And a lot of people, they didn't have that type of love, so they're not giving it. They make an excuse when they say they wasn't taught, because there's plenty of books, videos, and it's all it takes for your little ugly baby to look you in the eye. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. And those things build confidence in the child over the years. Yeah. But yeah, he's looking at all these big booties when he go out. He coming home, his hammer is driving home all on the steering wheel, and he get home and she ain't looking like the woman that he got pregnant. She ain't got that, and he not looking at her. You know, but I'll say this and I'll shut up. Also, brother, just talk to her. Just talk to your woman, man. Have a conversation. Take her out of the house. Tell grandmama come and get the little big head baby for the weekend. Take her ride up the lake, ride somewhere and sit outside and just have a conversation. Because by the time you get home, she might do you a favor on the drive home. But
he having a conversation. He just want to ride. And he didn't milk the baby, and that's the problem. If in fact he would have milked the baby, or he wouldn't be just thinking about his Johnson and the ride, we wouldn't be having this issue. So we ain't making no excuses for him. Yeah, he might be going through something, but if he was going through something, he was identifying what he was going through in that description. He's going through his wee not being blessed the way he wanted. Period. And that's what he was speaking to. Now, if he was going through, man, I'm going through some other things. I really have my needs to be met, blah 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 blah, and not downplaying it on just what he wanted, then I would have a different perspective, and I might agree more of what you're saying, R-Pain. But that ain't a
you don't have to agree with me. If we asked a woman about her postpartum depression, a lot of it would sound like selfishness. So a lot of it would. So I'm just saying the way he was looking about me could be a part of his problem. And if we don't want to give him, and because you might be right. That's what I'm saying. You could be right. He could just be a selfish prick, right? But he could also be a guy who went through some stuff, and and he manifested by saying it. Because sometimes when people need help, they don't know they need help.
Agreed. And it looks like sometimes selfishness, but it doesn't negate that it's still selfishness. That's a result of their issue that they're having, perhaps. And that's fine. But the point is, it doesn't negate that it's selfish. It doesn't negate that you're only looking at it from your perspective and not trying to look at it from someone else's perspective.
And that's why you would probably need somebody to help give you the new perspective.
Agree. I'm not disputing that. That is what you're describing is the reasons for some of it. What I'm describing is the actions of what's being done because of it.
Like I said, and maybe Precious, you could chime in. The way postpartum depression may manifest in some women, it might sound like selfishness to the layman. It might, right? So you got to say, there's got to be some grace to say she's just not selfish. There's something else going on.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So he could be just self, like you said, but it could be something else going on. He can't just, And I'm just saying. So I'm. You're right. I'm not trying to give him a pass. I'm just trying to kind of equate the two situations that they're both going through. She's actually going through some physical trauma that has set off some mental stuff that goes along with it, body and all that shit. He's going through the fact that he was banging his wife out all the way up until the last trimester, and now he can't get none.
Well, that's why you're right. That's why I'm leaning more towards.
He was a willing participant all the way up until then too.
And that's why, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, but that tells me their life was predicated on them bouncing on each other all the time.
I don't know if it's there, but I would say his life was, according to what he said. And
if your woman don't want you to be bouncing on her all the time.
But the whole thing is, wait. You got to realize she might have been willing to prior to that C-section.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not because she wanted to. That's because she was trying to appease her man. And when the C-section, she no longer could have done it physically, possibly.
We're talking about before she had the C-section. They were having sex all the way to the fact that before they
what I'm saying, right. I'm saying that it might true, but that might not have been according to what she wanted. It might have just been her appeasing.
That often? Are you saying that he was?
I'm saying that's a possibility. She could have been doing it for him.
Something. Listen, most women, man. Let's stop taking agency from a woman. You're saying he actually was assaulting this woman every time he wanted to have sex?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm saying no.
Women who like to give their husband some ass.
But that doesn't mean she always wants to.
So as a woman, chime in. Okay. If she is throwing it back before, this child, before, the whole dynamic of the family change, she wanted to. She wanted to give up the buns. She wanted to spread them legs and bust it wide open. Okay, that's what she wanted to do. However, she has now had a child.
Things change.
Right. A woman's brain naturally changes after she has a baby. It's scientifically proven. It changes. Your body changes. You think very differently about the things after birth than you did before birth. And of course, birth has a lot to do with that. But again, your mind is changing. And so it's not that she doesn't want to do it anymore. However, there are things that has happened, such as birth, such as a psychological nature of knowing it is now your full responsibility to take care of another human being besides your husband, which that's a different dynamic, because a baby and a full-grown man are two different dynamics. Knowing that you're the mother and primary nurturer of this child, a lot of women get overwhelmed in just that thought, not even the act, just the thought of knowing, oh my God, this baby about to be crying every 2 hours. Like, I need some sleep. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta, just the
aspirate the milk out of your nipple. Aspirate the milk all the time.
When a baby, yes, like a woman's body, child, I remember, a woman's body, God is just amazing at how I was watching animals give birth early. I don't know how my algorithm landed. But a woman's body reacts and responds to a baby. Like when my daughter would cry, I would fill up with milk. And I wouldn't even have to be in the same room with her. I wouldn't even have to be in the same geographical location as her. So that knowing that you are biologically tied to a helpless human being is a lot of responsibility and just heaviness that a lot of women are not ready for. The people think, okay, we have sex. Oh, we had sex. Oh, now we're pregnant. Oh, now we're carrying a baby. Ooh, I feel the baby moving. But as soon as you have that child, things are not as they seem. I don't care how you think, you're going to be just as normal as you was before. You're just not. Thank God. And, I'm grateful that I didn't go through postpartum depression, but some women do, and it's not, anything bad against her. This is a time, you're supposed to dwell with your wife in knowledge. And so if there's something that you don't know, you better go seek the knowledge for it.
Right.
And so like y'all are saying, maybe he needs to talk to someone at this point, because the baby's here. You should do these things before, prepare before the situation gets to what the situation is going to be. But since he did it, you now have to seek after the knowledge to know how to dwell with your wife and help her and love her in a way that's different from when there was no baby.
Right.
Because the whole family dynamic has changed. And so just wanting to get your needs met and being in that man nature, because it's y'all nature to, that's how she got there. Okay, that's how she was looking like Shamu, because you just couldn't keep it to yourself, and she liked that about you. She liked that about you. She was, she was down to participate. But now things have changed, and it doesn't mean that she should not get herself together, and she shouldn't seek after knowledge on how to overcome this depression, because she has that equal responsibility and having to do that, not only for you as her husband, but as for the child, because a child can be in grave danger if a woman has postpartum depression, not just the husband. You think you're not getting sex. A child can be in grave danger if a woman does not go and seek help from postpartum depression. So your first responsibility is to your wife, but then it's to that child. The child, didn't ask for any of this. So now you have to, secure the safety of your wife and your child. And so, look, you better go in that closet and do what you're going to do, because, I'm going through something right now, and it's not to be mean, but I need your support in this. I need you to be supportive. I need you to, rub my belly or rub my feet or whatever the situation is. I mean, women are already ovens and men are microwaves. And so she going to be a crock pot now. Like it's going to take some, and it may just never happen. She might be a crock pot that ain't plugged in, child. Postpartum depression is a mental, it's a mental disorder. It disorients you for an extended or a short period of time, and it's for both parties and the both individuals in the situation to seek the knowledge that it's going to take to actually get through it, because she probably has never been pregnant before. You've probably never been a father before. And so it's a learning experience for everybody in the situation. So to say she needs to, figure it out, and if she don't, then she's going to have to go back to work and the baby's going to have to go back to school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How are you really protecting your family in that situation?
That's crazy.
Sounds like you're trying to get rid of them, right? That's not protection. That's literally feeding your family to the wolves in an unhealthy, unsafe, and unstable mental condition. And so, I know a lot of men think that it's just like a bounce back, and she should be focusing on X, Y, and Z, getting her body right so she can have sex with me. No, she needs to focus on getting her mind right. Because if her mind right, if her mind's not right, her body's not going to follow. Your body follows your mind. And if her mind's not right, she's not going to be able to nurture the child, your seed that she just produced for you. And so I think that once a man is able to seek that knowledge and see, just like and say and communicate with y'all for y'all to be able to do things for us, men have that gift to do the same thing for women, and it's not necessarily, giving her $1 million, but taking interest in why she's not 100% would allow her to say, you know what, he's trying. He's, at least he ain't, leaving me every night. There's some women who have babies and their man is never there. They're not present. Because he didn't have to go through this process. He's only thinking about himself, and only thinking about yourself in a situation where you was on top of me and we was doing this together. Yeah, we can't go back to now thinking about yourself. So it's like the first video of the girl who's like, when am I going to feel appreciated? And it's like, y'all participated in a group activity, and now you want to leave the group because ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. It's about the group. Like, it's not just about you. So he is being very selfish, and there's a lot to learn for both of them, not just him. There's a lot to learn from both. He also now has to figure out how to be a mother and a loving wife at the same time, because now you gotta have duality to you. Before you was just the one he was hunching on, and he had you all to himself, and y'all didn't have to worry about another person in the matter, and now you do. And so it's something that both of you have to figure out and find a happy medium for you both, but it has to be a healthy situation for the child overall.
I just wanted to say, panel was awesome.
Thank you.
Again.
Precious, the Men's Forum.
I enjoyed the panel. I enjoyed the chat. Somebody in here talking about they from the Klan. I don't know what's going on with that.
See, that's why I let the others. I got bad vibes from the person that wanted to. The person that was like, "Well, why did you block me?" You know.
Yeah, I don't know what
mainly,
happened.
you know, that he shared with me on how to get more views and the landscape versus vertical. But you know, you just never know what kind of zanies and fools you letting up in here.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt that energy off of the person that wanted to join the and so I didn't let him join. Because I
Always go with your gut.
you up here like you know, what's up? What's up? Who sent you? Okay.
And for the record, I'm not streaming live, so it ain't my people. It ain't my life.
You be having the box.
Yeah, I'm usually guilty as charged. Yeah, I'm usually guilty as charged. This time, not guilty at all.
Yeah,
But I'm about to get out of here. I enjoyed you guys as usual. You guys have a good night.
Thank
you.
All right.
Salute.
Have a good one.
Be safe, man.
But yeah, we're all about to get out of here. It was definitely a great live. We'll do some final thoughts, and then you can go back to enjoying the rest of your evening. So we'll start with Coach Ferg. We'll go over to Sean, and then we'll end our pain.
All right.
I mean, these videos is interesting, right?
Fire tonight, yeah.
Because it seems like, you know, this is real time. People playing these marriage games and relationship games in real time, right? And it seems like people are disconnecting even more, even while they're together. So, and again, man, listen, me and my wife ain't got the greatest relationship, but I'll tell you one thing. She fights hard for me. She fights hard for me, and I appreciate that because I make sure her life is easy. You know, we have conversations with sometimes when I'm on live, right, and are just listening in to some of these little crazy channels, right, talking crazy about the relationship. First thing, you know, she told me the other day, she said, I couldn't sit around listening to them damn fools whining all day.
Okay.
I'm like, well, a lot of people do that, and it's unfortunate because a lot of people haven't experienced it or may have taken an experience that happened in 1999, 2000 when R. Kelly was and P. Diddy was out here wilding out, and have took that into their mature years. And a lot of people are living in fear of relationships. They're living in fear of how their life could possibly turn out over the next, 15, 20 years because America is shifting. And I think, and if people are screaming in this negative thing, because it affects us a great deal because the financial ability to increases, it's becoming more individualistic, but it's really not growing the bank. Because now you're looking at individuals have to survive. And it's just unfortunate, right? And I said about this, that the it's like the peer group that should be interacting the most, they're separating the most. And then you'll find, when it's like they'll go out and do all the wild shit that society say or get you caught up, and it's like they embrace it. But and a lot of it comes down to that fundamental dynamic that you had within your home when you was a kid growing up. What type of man protected you? What type of woman protected you? And we're seeing the Sean, you in the music. We seeing the exact thing that Tupac said would happen. We'll have a race of babies that hate the ladies.
Yep.
And the ladies hate themselves. And men are starting to show signs that, hey, I'm lashing at my mama, not just you. Because a lot of these guys were growing up in this type of environment because a lot of the leadership that we had, and I ain't saying we was at the top of the mountain, but damn it, we could hold the mountain line. We can hold the line now. It's I'm scared for the next 25 years for other people. Because if A lot of people gonna see the true America in the next 3 years. When this AI come into corporations, a lot of people are gonna be falling off. So they better start looking to find a half decent dude. As long as the dude, if he can, if he can know how to do stuff with his hands, he might be a good dude. But it's gonna be tough for a lot of women, because they by nature want a man to protect them, because women ain't gonna protect each other. Not if the Sean come in there looking all Davia and Suave, they gonna fight each other. So it's unfortunate, Precious. I hope that you find your beau and go and sit down somewhere and get up under that covering before you be out here with gray hair trying to date dudes that's 22 talking about, hey, mama, you pay like you weigh. It's coming. You gonna have to pay like you weigh, Precious. I mean,
look, I'm not one of these females out here like, you need to pay for everything for me. I have no problem working. You don't work, you don't eat. Okay, like that's a principle that everybody should live by. So he better find me. Thanks, Coach Ferg. Have a great night. Sean, it's your turn.
Let's get Coach Ferg out of there.
Sean, are you there?
Sean,
you can't come off mute, man. Hit the mute button.
If you can hear us.
He's moving his camera.
I don't think he can hear us. You up, Sean?
What is happening? Hold on. Let me see if I can unmute him. Sean. All right, going once, going twice.
What's up, Sean? Go ahead. You up.
Sean's out of there.
Yeah, he's freezing us out. Hey, listen, this was a good panel. I mean, it's all right. I mean, I think I was wondering what we were going to talk about with the postpartum, but it's irrelevant for anybody who has some children. My wife, she didn't go through that. She had different challenges for us to have our children. So, but she was a champ. I mean, like I said, if you're a dad and a husband and you have children, there's something that, and you really love your kids, you nurture them, you do all that kind of stuff. It's a part of your life with your wife that you could never repay her for. You know what I'm saying? You could never do anything equivalent, because I believe a baby is one of the greatest gifts a woman could give a man, is the greatest gift. Right? There's no other gift that a woman could give a man that deserve. I mean, that's why I'm so upset with the Black community for giving babies to men who don't deserve them. And especially when we talk about all the stuff women have to go through to have those kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, God should at least have to deserve some of that. So in the 10 years it took us to have 2 kids, and the stuff that my wife had to go through physically and everything else, I can never repay her for that. Matter of fact, we could have went, because I got 2 girls, and everybody says a man needs a boy and a son. And she would have went along with it. But after the last one, and what she went through, because we had 7 years, all that 7 years of trying to have the second one, I said to myself, there is no way I'm going to put her through that again. And for just a son, I mean, I want a son. Everybody, I said, but my ego is not that big. I mean, I got 2 healthy daughters, and they're doing their thing, so they're healthy and bubbly and shit like that. We stopped right there. We just didn't even talk about it. We just let time take care of all the rest of it, in terms of her not being able to get pregnant again. So,
yeah, a woman risks. Her life is at risk when she lays down to have a baby, whether it's by C-section or not.
Wow.
Because you literally have a living human being inside of you that has to come out, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong. That's why it's important for women to keep their health in a good standing when you're pregnant. It's good for you to, always be moving around and be active. So your body can do what it naturally does. You don't want to slow it down or prevent it from being this baby making machine, prevent it from doing that. However, there are always risks, even if you do stay active, even if you do, eat right. There are always risks because we're not God. You know what I mean? We're not, we're people, and things happen and people aren't perfect. The doctors aren't perfect. Sometimes they do not give the right diagnosis and give you the right advice. I've heard a lot of, especially Black women say how they have gone to the doctors and they have told the doctors their symptoms, what they feel like, how it hurts, and a doctor will send you home. And
did you see that one when they kicked the lady in labor out of the hospital?
I've been seeing a lot of different videos like that. I've seen the one where they had the woman on in a court Zoom meeting, right when she's in the hospital about to give birth. There's been a lot of content. Now,
this lady was going through labor in the hospital, and they put her in a wheelchair, and she's begging to stay, and they rolled her ass right on out. And her husband was there. He was like, what the hell? They didn't get more than 200 yards in the car before she went into labor to have the baby.
Well, back in the day,
that was recent.
To do this without medicine and without a doctor and without a hospital, because they took the time to, again, seek the knowledge and know their people and know their bodies. Like, that's another thing. Women don't really be knowing their bodies. You want to go into a doctor's office and have this stranger tell you about your body. I was watching something the other day, and it was a woman from Africa. I'm not sure which part, but she was talking about how, Africans use food to heal their bodies. And, pretty much telling you the purpose of having certain things in these dishes for your digestion, for, no acid reflux. And, we have to not only dwell with others in knowledge, but we have to dwell with ourselves in knowledge. So if a woman don't even know her body and she goes to have a child, she is going to be in shock if she's not, learning herself and learning the education she needs to learn in order to this life change. Even post having children, and you get into those ages where the change happens, right? You start sweating a lot, and you start, like, those are things that you should be actively seeking knowledge after, because you need to know not only your body, but what can this thing that's happening to my body, how can it affect me and the people around me, right? And so that's when you start to prepare yourself for those things. You seek the knowledge of the older women around you. That's what the older women did, in our community. They get you ready for these things. But if that is dying off, and you don't have women that are, willing to help the younger women, then you're going to have a lot of women out here who are either not going to choose to have children because they just don't even want to go through the hassle, or you're going to have a lot of women who are just in, panic mode, and they're going, it's going to take a lot longer for them to get through this postpartum depression period or season. It's going to take a little bit longer because information is, available. It's at our fingertips. And if you don't decide to seek after that knowledge, then you have nobody but yourself to really, blame for the longevity of a season that doesn't have to be that long, and the harmful nature that others can encounter because of your lack of knowledge. Your ignorance can cause harm to other people too, especially the baby. So I don't know how we Arpain, you was giving your final.
Well, I was going to let the whole speak. No, but I mean, that was the last thing we were talking about, postpartum. Mm-hmm. I saw a part of so that was just kind of keying on that one, and just this little anecdotal thing, because my wife didn't really have it. She just wanted a baby so bad, so she was, the process of something she was willing to go through.
Right.
And once we had the kids, I didn't tell no change. She just kind of bounced back into her regular life and to move on, doing what she had to do as a mother, and learning what she had to do. So, but, I could understand the woman with postpartum. I can understand how the guy reacted. It was selfish, but he needs some help to say, hey, listen, this is selfish. If you love this woman, you're going to have to be a part of her healing process, not somebody trying to bang it out of her with a hammer, trying to get her right again. That's not the answer. So anyway, those was good. Huh?
So he might even need to see a sex therapist.
But you know what? Coach said it. What he really do? Hey, just take her out of the environment a couple of times. Take her out of the environment. You don't even have to think about sex. Get her out of it. Talk to her. Get her somewhere with his flowers, roses, fresh air, all that kind of stuff.
Sex. He wants some sex.
No, I mean, but hey, listen, there had to be a way that you got her into that mood.
Yeah,
right.
That's how you set it up.
True.
Just romance a little bit, because if you go to a therapist, it's more professional
at that time. But if you start doing those things, I remember I told a guy that, man. This is so funny. It's my last word. I remember talking to a young guy in the bar. He was like, "It's a white dude. He was like 25, young, had a 2-year-old, and his wife is giving him a little less than that, a 1-year-old, and she was changed. He was talking about it. We were over here drinking." She said, "Man, I don't even recognize her no more. She's always stressed out, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Man," do you love your woman, or do you love your wife?" I said, "Why don't you do this? Okay, why don't you go home and tell her, listen, go out for the weekend. I got the kid. Just give me the kid for the weekend. Just get the hell out. Just go out, hang out with your girls, relax." Dude, I said, "You don't have to do this every week. You just got to do it enough to take the edge off, man. She's going to come home and she's going to be so unbelievable."
Yes.
That I got my girl back, because now you told her that every so often you're going to take all this pressure off her.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't have to take much to do these things. The guys just don't understand. Go ahead.
That's the other. So that's what I mean. Like, a woman's nature is flow, right? And so when you have all these things in your head, like, oh my God, this responsibility, who's going to help me with this, and and a man comes in and automatically, and it don't have to be automatic, even if there is a conversation for you to get to this point, because everything's not going to be automatic. Everybody's not going to know everything, Right. But even, to get to the point where it's, I got the baby today. I'm gonna cook breakfast. I'm going to do the clothes or the laundry or whatever the case may be. Go get a massage. That allows a woman to continue to be in flow, right? She's still able to have that break, and still come back to you and give you what you need.
Yeah, it's true. Listen, I tell people I might not be able to tell all this modern shit everybody's talking about, but I can tell people how to stay married. I could tell people how to stay married.
And I'll listen. I'll listen to you, brother. I'll listen.
What I'm saying? But anyway, so thanks, Precious. I'm done.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate you guys. I always say you guys don't have to come up on here on Wednesdays. You could be doing anything, watching anyone involved in anybody else's panel, but you guys choose to be here to, impart your knowledge and your perspectives with the audience, our other co-hosts who engage. I appreciate you guys so much. But tonight was a good show. She walked out. We got a woman who walked out on her marriage. We got a man who is fed up because the baby is here and, you know, he's not getting that good loving like he used to. And then you got somebody who just feels unseen. And after being seen for a long time because she had brain surgery, there was no choice but to see her. Okay. But the moral of the story is we all have to be a little bit more introspective. You know, what am I not seeing here and what am I not recognizing about myself while trying to expect something else from, you know, someone else. And I think that in all of these cases, there was, you know, just a lack of taking a step back and saying, okay, what role am I playing in this? You know, you can be an enabler. You can be someone who, you know, does not tolerate. You can be someone who is just in it for the wrong reasons, but you have to be able to acknowledge your role in it and move accordingly. You know, be real about it. I always say be real with yourself so you can be real with others. The woman in the marriage, she was real with herself. Hey, look, I can't be in a marriage where you're going to act one way towards me and towards your family. You're the nicest man on earth. You know, I don't feel emotionally safe with you. You know, a woman and this man who, you know, talks about the postpartum depression, you know, you have to make a decision of, am I going to get closer to my wife because of postpartum depression, or am I going to grow apart from my wife because of postpartum depression? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Okay, the sex and all of that is it going to fall off if it don't happen? It ain't going to fall off. You know what I mean? Like you got to weigh what's important. And I'm not saying that it's not important to you, but the most important things are, you know, your family, your newborn child, your wife who just gave birth. It's okay to put your needs on the back burner for a little bit in order to that's just part of that sacrifice, right? A woman sacrifices for you, you sacrifice for her, and it just goes back and forth. And it's not a competition, but it's, you know, how can I give to you today, you know, without it being a competition or wanting me to respect or expect anything back. And then, you know, the other lady is just like, come on. So I appreciate you guys. We will be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But as of right now, next Wednesday, 9 p.m. And if you want to learn about the foster care and adoption dynamic, family dynamic from an adoptee's point of view, foster child point of view, definitely join us on Tuesday. Leon and I do co-host the Adoptee Foster Show. And we show clips over there too. We showed a clip from Kendra G last night. A man adopted a 13-year-old boy. He on Kendra G looking for love, but he ain't looking for a woman. He's looking for a man.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Yet he's about to adopt a 13-year-old. So, you know, adoption affects everyone in everyday life. And so we just bring awareness to that. We are advocates for the community. So definitely join us if you have the time. If you're part of, you know, Team Replay, I appreciate that as well. And engage in the comments. But until then, guys, be real with yourself so you can be real with everyone else. Have a good night.
Later. Take it easy, folks.